Test, 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 test. So I can't that opening it messes up the it messes up. I can't see myself talking Skywalker when you do that stuff. Okay. I can't it it just messes things up. I don't have all the technology out there. I don't have all the things that are necessary. I'm using quotes right now. I see you, honey. I don't have all that. Okay. By the way, we got a little copyright strike on. Well, it wasn't a strike, but it was like, oh, you better watch out. We're coming for you. You guys can't do that. You gotta watch out. You guys gotta watch out. Yeah, the usual likes, share, subscribe. I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now, man. I'm getting fat again. See that we start losing weight, you know what happens? You start noticing the smallest detail of your face changing, your body changing. Now, I must admit, I'm not the best, you know, I don't eat as good as I should. I have a sweet tooth, Starburst, jelly beans, and Reese's cups. No, we have to work on that. All right, I gained 10 pounds in like 6 weeks. If I would have saw this weight though a year ago, I would have been like, "Oh man, this is great." Now that I'm up 10 pounds, I'm like, "Oh, this is horrible." It's fun. Perspective is funny, man. Yeah, when I first got hired at the company I'm at, man, my second year pay, I couldn't believe how much money I was making. Now I look and I think, how did I ever make it on that perspective, man? It's just weird how things work. It just is. Yeah, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, all that business. Skywalker is getting all the money. I think he's sharing it with Art. I'm here in Burbank, California. Speaking of Art, bunch of mark asses around. That's how they speak in LA. Rah, rah, rah. They have that kind of voice. It's nice out here, though, man. 65. Smells like fire. But hey, every place you go, man, there's always a trade-off. Yeah. There's no place is perfect. And I've been to a lot of cities around the world, man. Singapore is probably the nicest city I've ever been to. Singapore is so beautiful. I've never seen so many young people well behaved, and they're all over the place. It's like the whole town is like 17 years old, but everyone's a professional there. And as long as you don't do dumb crap, and that's why black people can never, like, black people should not go to Singapore for their own safety because you people don't know how to be just decent. They don't play, man. They'll cane you. And yes, you can chew gum, by the way. They don't sell gum downtown, but you can chew gum, but you can't put it out on the street, which I don't think is too much to ask, by the way. I don't think that's too much to ask at all that you don't throw your gum away. I was driving down the street, I guess it was Sunday. It was Monday. And this guy just threw his litter out the window. Threw it out. And this was in a good part of town. This wasn't Memphis. This was Kansas City. It was in a nice part of town. We start, what kind of, I almost became a Karen and said, I'm going to follow him and all that. I didn't do it, but like, why would you do that? There's plenty of trash cans in this country. Mm, I have to take my medication. I'm not sure why people do that. Why would you mess up something nice? I think there needs to be a separate passport for black people. You know, there's a U.S. passport, and then there's like a FBA passport. Because er, you know, people just don't know how. People don't know how to conduct themselves. Let's be honest. We all know who it is. Yeah, sure. We can say, well, yeah, 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 yeah. Tell it to the judge. We all know it's the same people who are causing the problem. And I think there should be like, if you're a regular American, you can have like, you can have a regular passport. Even people like me, I can have a regular passport. I've shown consistently that I can conduct myself in a way that is consistent with the basic standards of any first world country. Uh, happen to be an airline pilot, and I don't know. I'm 9% Scandinavian, 19% British. That's over the 20% hump. So I should, but people like chaotic and all you black motherfuckers, you guys need an FBA passport. You need visas. You should have an interview. You should have a lot of things on you to make sure that we're going to let you in this country because you guys don't know how to act. I know how to act. You guys don't. And the reason why I know how to act is because very early on in my childhood, when I acted out, as every kid did, my dad put his foot in my ass. And I realized, okay, I can no longer act this way. It's that simple. Well, we didn't need a bunch of cops. We didn't need bullies and all that. You know, a good solid foot in your ass by your father lets you know that you can conduct yourself. And I maintain a good solid foot in your ass by your dad will ensure that you can have an American passport without restrictions. The rest of you people need, you got to have an FBA passport. Okay. I don't care what color you people make it. If you want to make it, those green, red, black, whatever Africa shit that is. If you guys want to do that, I have no problem. Fine. Knock yourself out. Yeah, you color it how you want to. All right. If you want to put long eyelashes on it and put fingernails on it and, you want to put fake hair on it, do it. But you need a different passport than people like me because you guys just can't handle it. Oh, Burbank, California is like I was looking at it just a little bit. So we're kind of close to Hollywood, near Simi Valley. Um, LA is probably the biggest slab of concrete ever created. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's got to be like 20 airports in a. It's probably like 20 airports in a 50-mile radius. I mean, it's crazy. Even coming in here at this time, there's traffic all over the place, literally on the ground and flying. Where are all these planes coming from? Well, we'll check Burbank out. It doesn't seem too tough. Uh, I know in California, they have crime problems and all that, but this place looks kind of nice. We'll do that later, though, man. Yeah, breakfast is in an hour. I don't know if I'll be up for that, man. I mean, I like me some bacon. Bacon, the smell of bacon, man. Oh, God, bacon, dude, bacon. I firmly believe, man, if they could cook bacon back during Jesus's times, then pork would not have been outlawed. Bacon, oh, eggs, and then the oh, man, orange juice too. Oh, gosh, call it protein. So I really have nothing to report. It is, well, I guess it's Wednesday morning. Unlike Tuesday, Wednesday does have a purpose. The purpose of Wednesday is to get you to Thursday. Um, they call it Hump Day. I don't know how they haven't gotten rid of that now with all the political correctness. Yeah, I guess they should call it, I don't know, Bridge Day. Bridge is the beginning of the week and the end of the week. I was born on a Wednesday myself, the more I think about it. You guys should go ahead and type in your birthday and see what day you were born. I was born at 3:12 a.m. Sorry, Mom. I guess I was a night owl. That was a long time ago, 50 years ago. Like, it's fun. You don't even remember your first memory till you're like 4 or 5. So pretty much your parents can make up anything they want to about you. Apparently, I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. But I don't remember anything about Cincinnati, Ohio. I've flown into Cincinnati a couple times. I mean, it looks all right. I guess, can't say I necessarily live there, but uh, okay. So you tell me I'm from Cincinnati, and then we moved to Florida. I don't remember that either. And then we moved to Maryland. But we trust our parents to tell us the truth, but we really don't know. We really don't know the beginning of our lives. I mean, so much in life we remember beginnings, but we don't remember the beginning of our life. There was an interesting discussion, though. Well, it was a little bit of yesterday. It was a little bit, I think, about children or something like that. I think the discussion was about children. I was kind of in and out, man. I was, I don't know, man. Yeah, when I get back to Memphis, I start feeling depressed, man. Yeah, and dude, when you get to that city, you just don't feel like doing. You know what you do when you get to Memphis? You feel like leaving. You feel like leaving. When you get to a town like Memphis, it looks beautiful in the rearview mirror. And I've flown over Memphis a bunch, doing different runs. It's interesting to fly over the city you're based in, and it looks okay, but it's like, dude, this is crazy. So I was certainly happy to leave that place, that stain on America, that armpit of America, that just trash heap. My goodness, if they blew up the town, it'd be an improvement. For grins, you should go on Zillow and see Memphis, see the houses in Memphis and all that, man. They're not. The reason why, so there was some family stuff I had to take care of there, uh, and I just never left. Every why are you staying there if you hate it? Well, I'm not there as much, but Tennessee has no state tax, uh, and Memphis is cheap. So uh, a cheap place to stay and no state tax, I'm all for it. And I already kind of set roots in there, so I was like, "Ah, I'll just stay." And honestly, where I live, man, like I live about 20 miles east of Memphis. So I'm not in Memphis proper, but I just don't, I don't like spending money, man. I mean, fuck. Money is something you need in case you don't die tomorrow. And a lot of people they, they want to get more money to get more stuff. And I'm thinking, well, then you got to regulate that shit. I mean, you got to, like, if you buy a big house, you got to heat that shit. You got to cool that shit. You buy a nice car, you got to worry about insurance, and you got to keep it clean, and then maintenance. I'll never forget the movie Fight Club. Came out in 1999. There's a story behind that too. It's a funny aviation story. But anyway, and Brad Pitt said that what you own ends up owning you. And it's true, man. You see people accumulate things, and it's like, why do you have all this? So that's one of the reasons why I don't like gifts. Oh, give me a gift. Give me. Don't give me shit. And here's the reason why. Because first of all, you have no idea what I need. Okay, you don't know what I need. Secondly, my needs are unusually small. I understand that. I get that. But third of all, whatever you get me, now I have to think about it. I have to store it. I have to use it. I have to deal with it, man. So don't give me anything. You know what giving is to me? Giving is not taking. That's what giving is to me. If you want to give to me, you don't have to give me a gift. Just stay away from me. Because once you are in my circle and I didn't ask you, I didn't volunteer my time, then inevitably I now have to think about you. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to live on a deserted island either. I like the option to go out and be around people and people watch and go to restaurants and do, normal people shit. But for the most part, man, let's just face it, most people aren't interesting. Most people really don't. Most people just aren't interesting, man. Most people are just not. Oh, they just don't get the dopamine going. Now, in some ways that's a good thing because you want a society that's stable. You want the price of bread to be the same tomorrow as it is today. You don't want it to be like Zimbabwe where you got to carry a bucket full of cash to buy, you know, from. There is something to uh, stability. You know, I even give you there is something to crowds. It's weird, like walking into a mall, which I don't do that much, but if I walk into a mall and it's empty, that's kind of weird. I mean, it's a mall. There should be people walking around. I grew up in a time where we had malls. Going to an airport that's completely empty, it just feels weird. It's like, no, there should be people around. So I get there's a reason for crowds. It's just I wish people I wish people had just a better sense of how much they don't bring to the table. I mean, I live a pretty solitary life. Um, and I have a lot of control over the types of people I have to deal with. I actually like my coworkers. I mean, we're all professionals and whatnot. But when you're a single man in the sea of a bunch of married men, you are inevitably going to have to hear about other people's kids and wife and all that stuff. And I, I just wish people who are in the majority. That's the thing. It's not white people, man. I know they're in the majority. It's married people. It's married people with kids. They're in the super majority. And I wish they would just look at people like me, who is not married and doesn't have kids, and not look at me as an opportunity to tell them about their married life. I don't run around and talk about my single life. Hey, I woke up and I did absolutely nothing today, and I loved it. Here, let me show you some pictures of me doing nothing. All right, and there I was in the bed. Oh, and there I am on the couch. Oh, and there I'm in the car. Don't do that. So why are you going to show me? your wife and your kids. I mean, thank you, but what am I supposed to do with that now? Now, if you pull the mental health card, if I'm sensing that you're someone who's going through something, hey, I'll listen, man. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I do have 2 ears. I'll listen. But the normal jib jabber of somebody's life, I, I'm astounded at how people, and then people, they show you pictures, and oh, here we were when we sat on top of a mountain, and then here's us in a submarine. Oh yeah, yeah, here's where I took my first shit, and here's where I did a handstand on top of a monkey. What? Why are you doing this to me? I don't know, man. You see the thing. Yes, you go to a new church, and all right, all of our new members, would you please stand up? First of all, that's kind of weird. It's kind of cultish. But secondly, I don't want everyone looking at me and then offering me shit and then, oh, come by. Because now it's like I- people look at other people as audience members. They don't look at other people as peers. They look at people as a crowd that they could show their life to. And I'm not an audience member. But you're making me be one, and it's involuntary. I won't say it's slavery, but it certainly is indentured servitude. To go up to a person and tell them about your life. Oh, do I get paid for this? Do I get paid to listen to you? And you're again, I get the normal jib jab. All right. Let's keep it administrative. I wish I could just give somebody a form, name, age, spouse, how many kids. Just fill it out, sign it. I'll read it later. If I have any questions, I'll come back to you. But if you don't hear from me, that means it's fine. All right. Let's just do it that way. I'm not an actor, man. All right. I'm not an actor in your play. And don't make me be an actor. Don't make me go, oh wow, oh, let me see your ranch. Fuck your ranch. Fuck you. That's why I look at people like JP and I actually like seeing him around these YouTube streets because I know it's gonna be interesting. And I think under most circumstances, if I were to look at how JP lives, I would be absolutely crying. I'd be crying for the kids. I'd actually be crying for him. I'd be crying. He says the craziest stuff in the world, and he lets us know his life. But he's so damn interesting. It's like, uh, I actually want to hear about your life. All of us should be, all of us should be crying when we hear people like JP, but we can't. He's so interesting, man. I won't say he's magnetic, like a someone you're drawn to. He just makes you curious, man. He makes you think deeply. Like you start wondering, is this really real? Oh gosh. Y'all need to learn how to crip walk. I don't care. Y'all need to learn how to crip walk. It's good for your knees. It's brother yoga. All right, it's brother yoga. I can't crip walk out here because this is LA, and LA they get really crazy. Oh, you got to pay a tax. Yeah, okay, whatever, man. California, man. Yeah, what a beautiful state this is. It has everything: desert, mountains, beaches, farmland, lakes, forests. It has everything, but it's such a poorly run state. This is a textbook. What's that saying, man? If the government owned the beach, it would have to import sand. It, it's such a poorly, poorly run state, and yet it's the eighth biggest economy in the world. It just goes to show the private sector still can find ways of making money. But if they just got rid of the sales tax here, excuse me, if they got rid of income tax here, that alone would be at. I bet you the economy would go up 20% overnight. Prices would go up too. But be so much disposable income. I don't see how people do it, man. Even in a regular state, like I don't know, what's a regular state? Well, are there regular states now? Okay, we'll take Indiana. That's kind of a regular state. It's kind of like you look at what people are paid, and it's like shit. How do you make it? I was reading this Wall Street Journal article of this. I guess this family who makes like their household income is like 200 grand a year. Now, I'm sorry, and 200 grand a year, you don't really have problems. Okay, at 200 grand a year, let's just stop a little bit. But they were saying they don't feel wealthy, and at 200 grand a year, I guess you don't feel wealthy, but you're not worried about the electric bill. And it was a family, and they had like two kids, and they were like, we don't feel like we're making it. And I can understand it to a degree. Prices have gone up. People need more crap. You know, I can get that to a degree. But if you can't live off 200 grand on a family of four, you know, you may not be able to save like you like to, but you could still make it. But in a regular state like Indiana, you take someone who's making, just above minimum wage, and it's still like this is nuts. This is where I scoot to the left a little bit. You got to start paying people more, man. You do. Now I get that if you pay people too much, then you can't have a business. But how much money does the owner really need? And then we go back around and, well, the government should, and just be decent. That kind of dovetails into what I was talking about, or for decency, man. So much of life, we really don't need to be educated about. Like, I think our education system was used to create workers, you know? Well, who the fuck really needs calculus? Who needs geometry? You can learn all the geometry and trigonometry and, optometry all you want. But if you're an asshole, you know, have you really made society better? Decency is so vital. I think the reason why the Japanese are so successful because they're first decent. They're taught how to be decent in school, like elementary school. Like you don't start getting really grades until like fourth grade. But the kids, they're taught, They're taught how to do things, how to conduct themselves in society, man. The parents back it up. In America, parents just drop their kids off and think that the school should be the babysitter. And parents get mad at the teachers for not being babysitting correctly. Your kid doesn't pay attention, or your kid is fighting, or your kid is not eating, or your kid is not listening. Well, the parents think it's the teacher's job to no. Teachers are there to augment a value system, not teach a value system per se. That seems to go against what I said in Japan, but Japan is one big collective. I heard it say too many people have too many rights. Maybe there is something to that. Maybe there is something to order, to hierarchy. I thrive in hierarchy, man. I like hierarchies because I know where I need to be. I know who's in front of me. I know who's behind me. As much as I love chaos, I like chaos to watch. I don't like chaos to be in. All right. I mean, I like to see a battle royal, man. Who doesn't like to see a battle royal? For those of you, that's a wrestling term where you get like 20 wrestlers on. I like to see a battle royal, but I don't want a battle royal when I go into a bank. I don't want to see the bank teller jump over the counter and start beating up the person that's taking too long. And I don't want to see people start smashing the ATM and, you know, people running into the lending office and jumping on. I don't want to see that. I do have this unusual, and you'll have to excuse me. I do have this unusual fascination with NFL bloopers and NFL hits. For some reason, I have this unusual fascination with block punts. I guess because you don't really see them that much, so when it happens, it's kind of an interesting thing. But football is kind of a controlled chaos, and I can watch that. But when I walk down the street, man, like, okay, perfect example. When I was in Cleveland last year, is when I saw CT. I was walking towards Walgreens and it was downtown and it was nice, it was warm. And I just happened to turn to the side. And here's a guy with his pants down, and he's yanking and banking. I really don't think bums did that back in the 50s and 60s. They probably had a suit. They were alcoholics. They probably sat in the corner. They may have begged, you know. But even bums back in the day had more decency than these kids now. A bum knew they were a bum, and they didn't. They may have hit you up, and they may even try to work for some money. I'll go at the front store. Let me shovel your shovel. Let me like sweep your front, your front area for like a nickel. Even bums had decency, man. Gangsters back in the day, Italian gangsters, all kinds of bad stuff they did. Drugs, prostitution, often people. But they would go to the court, and you know what? They go to court in shirts and ties and suits. You didn't hurt women, you didn't hurt children, and you didn't hurt citizens. You didn't hurt regular people who were not in the game, man. Even the worst of society, there was still some basic kind of just recognition that when you go into the public sphere, it's not about you. I don't know, man. You know, I am getting old. I get it. I'm starting to move into the realm of society where I don't like things to change too much because I can't keep up. You know, this whole AI business, I don't understand it. I use Chat GPT and I just talked into it. Man, I got more information than I ever, and it was really laid out great, man. I was like, this is amazing. Like I went in and I asked, I said, what is the best video editing software? Right. And it gave me a response that was well thought out. It was well put together. I was like, this is amazing. I was lucky enough to be formed in a time where the internet was coming around. And I thought just typing on the internet, anything and all the information. But now to be able to talk into my phone, and when I talk about Siri, Siri's stupid as hell. This chat GPT, it lays it out perfectly. It's amazing. Technology is amazing, man. It's funny though. The Wright brothers, what I think they flew in 1910. It only went like 13 feet. But the Wright brothers would look at the airplane nowadays and see that the shape of the airplane hasn't changed. Actually, I don't even think they had a rudder, man. I think they just went straight. you know, but to be living at this time, it really is amazing. Just the explosion of technology and this AI thing now, artificial intelligence. This is well beyond me. So, you know, like I've well, there are people I know who still like to write checks. All right. I don't write checks anymore unless I have to. Okay. But I remember a time where I didn't like texting. Now I got used to texting, you know. So I'm stuck at the point, like I'm stuck at the Facebook, Instagram point. All this new stuff now, I don't know, tricks or ticks or what's it called? Talk or tick pocket, whatever it's called. All that stuff now that's beyond me. All right. I was too old for that stuff. These kids now, they have all kinds of stuff. But this AI, man, I don't know what. I mean, everyone has unbelievable amounts of information at their disposal just by talking into it. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, well, I guess that's enough bullshit for now. Um, it is 5:47 anti-meridian. That's AM for all of you in Rio Linda. Rush Limbaugh used to say that. And in 13 minutes, breakfast will be served. Unfortunately, it's not a buffet breakfast, which means, guess what? I have to sit down and interact with someone to get some fucking food. What I liked about buffet is, all right, yeah, all right, I'll just eat when I want to eat, man. Okay, here's the card. Okay, bring it up. And this is what I do in restaurants. I give the person the card first, and then I say, when you see that I'm done, just bring me the bill. Bring up the card because I don't want to sit. The person has to go. They have to get the bill. Then they have to come back to me. I give them the card. Then they go away, and then they run the card. Then they come back, and I sign it. That's too many trips, man. All right. Here's the deal. Here's the card. When I'm done, I'll give you a nod. Run it up. I'll throw the tip on, and I'm out. There's a lot of time wasted in formality, man. I don't think I'm being selfish. I don't think I'm actually think I'm help. I think I'm doing a service for other people. Oh, I'm not wasting their time. Like I said, man, true giving is not taking. Not taking is an unappreciated form of giving, and I wish people would not take more. If we didn't take from others, we'd give to others. And that's crazy for most people, man. I see y'all in the chat, man. I hope everything is fine with you all. I hope that everyone Has a good day, man. Yeah, shit. Just have a good day. Fuck. All right. I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't do Tony Robbins and you just feel better. Just go out there and make something of yourself. No, I don't do that shit. But it doesn't hurt to smile, think good thoughts, and all that crap. Like, share, subscribe. We're having fun over here. We're having a lot of fun. These guys, 84 and Art, are really making a great show out of this. And yeah, we all kind of do well. Gimpy, stay safe, man. All right. And yeah, the pictures of the Holy Sepulchre and Jerusalem are amazing, man. That's definitely on the to-do list. Y'all be good. All right. We'll see y'all later. Take it easy.